Welcome to the Play Their Way podcast, where we talk about all things in child first coaching. I'm your host, Laura Jane Jones, and today we're joined by Luke Carpenter, a grassroots coach at Valleys Gymnastics, and he's also recently won the UK Coaching 2023 Coach of the Year for Children and Young People. Luke, welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right, thank you. It's really, really good. Yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast. Thank you.
I have to start by asking you about the award. Do you feel different now you're the newly anointed UK Coach of the Year
Oh,
for Children and Young People?
oh my God. I honest now is I couldn't believe just to be nominated and to actually come up and to Leeds and then win it. It was unbelievable. What an achievement, really. And everybody saying to me, like, everybody knows me around here, knows I've done it, and they all coming up to me saying, well done, well deserved. So it means a lot to me, yeah.
What do you think made you stand out?
Well, I don't know. I think it's because I am where you see me today now, you're on this podcast, is how I am in the gym. I'm happy. I'm going there. I'm with the kids, in with them in the mix, like we was doing the other day, singing Christmas songs. It was all done jumping round and I was in the mix with them. And I'm hoping that's what stood out as that doing that.
I've got a list of questions in front of me, and I did warn you beforehand that I'll probably go off on tangents and pick up on things you said. And something you've said early doors here is everyone around here knows me, and I think that's the definition of a community coach. And maybe for me, it's probably something that appeals more or I can relate to more because I am Welsh like you and I understand the communities we come from. But how much for you, as somebody who centres child first coaching, is that just a natural extension of being part of a community and knowing people and listening to people?
Yes, I think being part of the community, because obviously I live local, I'm very lucky from where I am, the gym is about 10-minute walk. So basically, when I started with Valleys 13 years ago, we set up the preschool and everybody comes, we opened our doors. So they came into Valleys Gymnastics and just by talking to the kids, playing with the kids, talking to the grandparents or the
Mhm.
mothers or fathers or whoever comes, I think it helps with the community. And a lot of people have come back from that to come back to Valleys. So like I wouldn't see maybe once they grow up and they've been in, if they finish gymnastics, I might not see them until the next child comes along. But they always come back to the preschool and the run round class from there and go from there.
I ask everyone who comes on this podcast the same question. I'm going to ask you this question now. What does play mean to you, Luke?
I think play is where you get in close with the kids. So play for me, it might not be showing like forward rolls or cartwheels. I had someone the other day, typical as Christmas, I had a little sleigh. So I put a little skipping rope on it around me and I pretended to be Rudolph. And they were sat on there and I went round and round and round on the floor. But that, with that kid, oh, it opened up everything. That's what makes that kid comes back and play for me is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be gymnastics. Yes, they're going on the trampoline. They might go on the trampoline after, but it is actually role play with the kid
That, what you've just
and
described,
listening
really
to
does
them.
feel, yeah, it feels like play their way, our strap line in practice there, doesn't it? How much for you does
Yeah.
focusing on a child-led approach really just mean structuring things around what they want to do, or at least making them think it's what they want to do?
Yeah. So the evening, where the classes are a bit more structured in gymnastics wise, like you would line them up and you would say, we'd sit them down and you'd say, like, what do we want to do today out of the session? And I always start with a game, and I've always done it. I always start with a fun game to get them going. So I play like horse and jockeys, or it could be like getting cards on the floor for the little ones. So basically, at the moment, I've been doing for the last nearly a year now. So like we've been doing a focus. So if it's dinosaurs, I get lots of pictures of dinosaurs, and they running down to get a dinosaur. The Christmas theme I've done like Santa, the elf, I've done stocking. So they run down and get a stocking. So that's a really good warm-up game to go for that. And then we then lead on to the circuit. It could be like we've done a Christmas thing, like balancing with a snowman or something like that, So it's asking them what they want to do and how they throw it or how they want to do it.
How much have you always had that approach to your coaching ethos, or is that something that you've learned as you've been coaching kids over the years?
Uh, it's funny. I mean, I've been working 25 years now, and I was always in the mix with children. So when my daughter was doing ballet, I was always in with the children and engrossing them. So they always be round and I used to do the shows and stuff like that. So I mean, I've it when I became a gymnastics coach, it felt natural for me. It felt natural as a role for that. I'm not. I don't try. It's just natural. That's the way it is for me.
How much do you think then that the kids feel that they can relate to you then in that sense? Do you think that's the magic of the way that you approach your sessions?
Yes, definitely. I think they can relate to it because I'm an easy person to come to talk to. Um, I'm, it's nice to have when they come into the gym, they're nervous. I always introduce myself to the kid or the kids, and I also when I bring them down onto the floor, I always make a point in saying, "Come on, guys, we've all new, we've all been something new, we're all a bit frightened," and I introduce them to the kids, and you will find that majority of the kids will go up to that person and that kid and say, "Oh, and help them all the way through it," and I always reward with a sticker as well. I mean, it's really important. Whatever they do, how they do it, is reward them because we're all different, and some things take a bit longer than the others, but we all try our best and do good things.
Everyone loves a sticker, don't they, Luke?
Oh yeah, everybody loves a sticker. We say they like it when they choose them like that. I go no, that one, that one.
Takes up half the session, doesn't it? How
Yeah,
much
it does.
then for
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
how much is it about participation over achievement then with kids for you?
Uh, well, I would rather someone where they're learning. You know, uh, I mean, they go on. I mean, in our club, yourself, it goes from zero where they come in and play to like a rec session. Then it goes up the ranks, but you have got to keep them in gymnastics. So the best way to do it and the way I do it is by having lots and lots and lots of fun. And hopefully then if they go on then to achieve then where they can do,
Yeah.
brilliant. And it's for me is keeping them engrossed in that play role so we can engage all the time then. And they might go off, they might go off. But I've had a lot of people that have come. I had someone the other day, or the other month, sorry. She went away from gymnastics. She was coming to a teenager. And I said to her, I said, I've spoken to mother and she said, she wants to do young leading. I said, oh, well, brilliant. Let's get her back into the gym environment and do young leading because that's another big thing that we do is about capturing the kids at a certain age so they can have a young leading and experience then to go on as coaches. And again, they might go away from it, but hopefully they'll come back into that coaching role then.
How much has play been at the heart of retention then for you of participants? How much do you feel
I think it's a
like
big thing.
Valleys Gymnastics is a haven for kids to come to and just enjoy themselves?
Oh, I think it's a massive part of play. Is I mean, getting them to play and feel they've got to feel comfortable in what they're doing. So I think by relaxing and having lots of fun and lots of play is gonna keep that child more engrossed and then keep on coming to Valley's gymnastics. I don't think without play, I don't think the sport would or all sports really, I don't think they'd keep an engaged longer. By having the play in the role is engaging and keeping in that session for longer and wanting to come back.
Everything that you're talking about sounds really appealing to parents of young people who would want to get involved in gymnastics and come and be a part of your club. But other coaches who are listening might think, oh, Luke sounds like he has a great time, but where's the coaching in that environment? What do you say to them who feel like there's no alignment between play and structure?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a fun guy and play and that is me. But I when you take it to the teenagers, for instance, where we are retaining a good number of teenagers now, we have fun, and you might find that they'll go off and have a little chat, and they'll come back. But my sessions then are planned a little bit. So if we're working on handsprings, for instance, then handsprings we'll work on, or we working on roundhouse or flicks. That does come into the session, but I also think it's really good in part if they want to go and chat for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because they're teenagers. That's good because it's keeping them in that sport. They come back then, and then they'll carry on doing what we've asked them to do. So planning is a big part of my sessions, and the younger ones. When I say about the rec, yes, we have play and we have fun, but when I set a circuit up, I mean it could be a strength circuit, but it's a bench with some fun things around the bench, pulling, or it could be like monkey on the bar. I call it monkey on the bar, but actually I've planned it so they're using upper body strength. Or when it's a forward roll, I've been called it a snowball lately. So they've been rolling down as a snowball. The kids are thinking it's a snowball, but it is more planned in detail, really, what we've asked to do.
I want to take you back to when you were talking about that teenage group you've got there and how they might take themselves off and have a little bit of a chat at times. And that does really speak to that self-advocacy part of play their way and children knowing that they've got a voice and they've got a choice in a sporting environment. In a sport like gymnastics that has been plagued by negativity in recent times, how important is self-advocacy for participants nowadays?
Oh, I think it's a big part. We talk about, like I've just said, about they go away and chat and talk. I think it's really important, to be honest with you, that they feel safe in their environment. I mean, like we just said, coaching lately has had a big thing about, what's happened, and I firmly believe that gymnastics is a good sport to be in. I mean, the coaches are fantastic I work with. I mean, we've got people, welfare officers in place if they need to go and speak to people. I can't say that we don't do enough. Really, it's amazing. We do so much for that kid. We even have got like a community chest. They can come in, they can choose a cupboard. If they haven't got like products, they can go into the cupboard. Fit and fed they do. There's another part of the team that does like fit and fed. So in school holidays, if they're struggling, they come in. But I think it's a massive part to listen to the child. You've got to. Otherwise, they're just going to go outside. And some kids, I mean, they said even to come into the gym, and talk. We talk about, like, especially this time of year, loneliness. All the kids feel it sometimes, and just to be a part of going away and talk, if that is what they need, that is what we're here for. Is to talk. It's a whole big picture, isn't it? That we've got to look at, really, and that is the main thing. We try to listen to the kids a lot in that.
On some of our other pods, we've spoken to coaches who are coaching in central London kind of locations and stuff. I know that in South Wales Valleys communities, we have our challenges, and socioeconomic ones certainly top that list at the moment. How much do you feel like by coaching kids and giving them a voice in sport, you're tooling them up for the wider world as well?
Oh, I think it's a big part. When I first started coaching 13 years ago, I had a boys squad group, and they did gymnastics until they got about teenagers, about 15. They left, and it is actually amazing to see what they've achieved and what they do. One's a big coach now for rugby, one's into football, one was into cricket. There was another one into football, but they've all gone on to do other stuff. And being part of gymnastics sets them up for that. My daughter, and I'll speak to my daughter. My daughter did gymnastics, and that's how I got involved with gymnastics. She's always prepared. She's in uni now, and she will set up and plan. But I think that is a big part of being gymnastics, is you had to plan, because she was doing so many hours a week. She planned herself, and it's gone on massively to help her with uni life or school work as well, because she always set out, because you had to set out stuff because you had training, and it's a massive part.
We've talked on previous pods about the alignment of safety with play. Now, in a gymnastics environment, that's obviously really important because of the dangers that children can put themselves into if they don't perform what you're asking them to correctly, but also the use of apparatus. So, how do you balance those two things at Valleys Gymnastics?
The safety, we always check, really, with the safety with the kids if they're a small group. So I always make sure that there's all things around that is safe. But just set up, but really, when you do your session, you set up, evaluate on the safety of it all, so they can't hurt themselves. Yes, you can have an odd accident where they bump their knee on a bench or something like that, but you just make sure it's okay, and it's where it is with safety, really.
How do you balance that with free play, though? Is that a case of putting trust in kids?
Uh, with the free play, the run round session, they come in with their parents and grandparents. So, like for instance, I'd set up like ours is quite good, our gym, because it's like up top, it's a flat area, and there's not much can go wrong there. Like we've got the pitted P bars where I put a mat in, but I put a big safety mat in so they can walk across the P bars doing bear walks, so they can't fall into that. Um, Down on the floor area in the beam area, you just cover it. I have no problem with it. Yes, you have an odd accident, but if you do as much as you can. That's what we can do, really.
What have you learned from the kids that you coach, Luke?
Oh, what have I learned? Oh, I've learned loads. If you listen to the kids, they teach me a lot. Because if they ask you to do something, like they might not want it. It's again listening and listening and learning from them as well. Because going back to the little ones as well, they if you listen to them, you get some really good ideas, mate. Because when you like that Santa the reindeer, they say, "Oh, can we do this and do that?" And you think, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to take that into the other session." Because they might say something, and you think, "Oh, yeah, you didn't think of that." So you learn a lot off the kids by that.
What advice have you got to other coaches?
Just be yourself. Be amazing. Go in. Be happy, enthusiastic, and always listen to the child. Why we do gymnastics? Why are we in it? Because we love the sport. We love hearing about different things. And that's what I say to coaches. Be yourself. Be happy. Just go in there. And the kids will rub off that. They'll get your vibe. If you go in sad, they're going to pick up on it. If you go happy and think you win them over and
Your
over.
vibe,
And you will
your
have a
vibe
laugh from
attracts
it.
your tribe, isn't it? That's what they say now, the young ones. You
Yeah,
know,
that's it. Yeah.
you've been a supporter and an advocate of Play Their Way. What has that meant to you? What does Play Their Way mean to you as a coach?
Oh God, it's such amazing to be in the part of the playing way. Playing way for me is exactly what we've talked about: is making that kid want to play, come back, and do everything they can do. So playing way for me is playing, having fun, going for it. That's what playing way for me.
Brilliant. Luke, diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much for joining us today. And Nadolig llawen and blwyddyn newydd dda. And that means Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of our non-Welsh listeners.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for listening, and we hope that you've enjoyed. Be sure to leave us a review and share this with someone else who you think might like it too. Check out our website, www.playtheirway.org, and follow Play Their Way on social media at Play Their Way on TikTok, X and LinkedIn, and at Play Their Way UK on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for joining us for Season 1 of the Play Their Way podcast. We've loved bringing you stories from coaches, supporters and young people, and we can't wait to return in 2024 with more great content to help you play their way.